This month I was supposed to have an easy time making my videos, but I can't hear anything, so let's talk about that instead. So it's not a particularly pleasant thing to talk about, but basically my ears are both blocked. Now, this happens pretty regularly for me because I have small ear canals, which is just a thing that some people have, but it rarely gets this extreme. It's usually one ear at a time, so I can kind of just get through with that, and even then it's usually only for a few hours. Sometimes I'll wake up and not be able to hear a bit, and then sometimes even just by the time I've actually got out of bed it's cleared up. But yeah, it happens sometimes and I can usually get through it. But right now it's both of my ears completely blocked, and it's been 4 days. So I basically just can't hear anything. And what I can hear is really muffled and distant, and I'm also talking a lot louder and can't tell, essentially. Luckily, my wife got some bone conduction headphones for Christmas, so I've been using those, and it lets me still hear most stuff. Actual conversations with people I can't really do, but it lets me watch videos and play games and do my work. So the way they work is instead of normal headphones, the headphones themselves inside have drivers, and the drivers vibrate a membrane essentially, and it pushes the air, how normal talking works and stuff. So then the air travels down your ear canals and then vibrates your eardrum, and that is how it works. That's how hearing works. But instead of that, the way these work is instead of moving the air or anything, they sit on the bones either side of your ears and vibrate those directly. So it just it vibrates the sides of your skull essentially, and that vibrates the bones inside your ear. It's functionally the same thing, but just skips all the using air steps. And because of that, I can still hear stuff. They're not the most comfortable, especially because I've got to wear glasses. They kind of squeeze my head a little bit, and they don't sit quite right, and they're also weirdly big. And it's not oh, some people will fit them and some people won't. No, they're just there's a 2 or 3 inch gap at the back of them. You know, when you've got just a band on a cheap pair of Bluetooth headphones. It's like that, but it's a hard plastic. So it's just this kind of a halo that just sits 2 inches out of the back of your head for some reason. Makes everything really awkward. I don't know why they designed it like that. But besides that, I can get stuff done, so it's better than nothing. But I can't tell properly if everything's okay. I think it is. Things seem okay to me, and I've got people to check that things sound okay, but they're not, they don't know how I want it to sound, you know what I mean? So they'll tell me, yeah, this sounds fine, and then I'll probably come back and listen to it once my hearing's okay again and be wow, that sounds terrible. And there's just not really much I can do about it then. For now, I've got eardrops and this bulb thing that you fill with water and squeeze into your ears, and just keep using those every day, and hopefully I'll be able to hear at some point. So I've spoken out in a few places, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but we're looking at moving out, which we've spoken about before, but it's looking like it might be more of a thing now. I'm just going to use this time, though, to complain about the housing market, because it's just fucking terrible. I knew it was bad, but I knew it was bad from a distance, so I wasn't, paying a lot of attention to it, and now I am, and it's really bad. We're looking at getting, it would be a very cheap house in our area, and that would be about £120,000. We got 40,000 we can use as a deposit, which isn't totally true, because when you're buying a house, you've got to pay, fees and taxes and shit, but we'll go off that as the basis, essentially. So we've got 40,000 to use as a deposit, which means that we'd have 80,000 left over, 30% deposit and a 70% mortgage. So looking at paying that back at about £500 a month over 30 years, which we should be able to afford at this rate. So that works out as paying, after interest, about £200,000. And I just don't understand. Why? Why is it that much? It's just fucking ridiculous. It just seems so high. I always thought paying interest back would be paying an amount back off what you borrow. And yeah, that's what this is. But this isn't an amount. It's nearly 3 times as much as you borrow. You would pay back almost the entire amount in the first 10 years, and then spend the next 20 just paying off the interest? What the fuck? It's completely fucked up, and it makes just getting even a shit house we're looking at just an incredibly difficult prospect. And especially when you look at it from the other side of all of the houses that are going this cheap are being bought by companies to then do up and sell for a higher price. And it doesn't even make sense, because especially around where I live, we're in quite a well-off area. That means that the houses around here go for quite a lot, usually. But they're just not selling. They will sell, but it's taking months. It's taking 8 or 9 months to sell a house around here at the moment, which is it's a really long time. And they're having to cut prices on everything they put up, and I just don't get it. The market clearly can't actually support it. We've been basically hoping for like a housing crash for years at this point, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon, but I really want it to, because this isn't feasible. It's not sustainable. There's a lot to cover with the channels, because there's been a lot of changes, so I'm just going to get into all of that now. Monster Hunter, for first, that's seen quite a lot of changes. It's now 3 times a week instead of 2. It's also completely replaced by weekday LP. It's also gone from the weekend LP because that doesn't exist anymore. There's more of those now, but possibly more noticeably, if you've been watching the actual episodes, is that I've been doing a lot of hunts with the followers. My thought process on this is that I'm just getting really tired of playing the game. It's been 4 years, and I have played every single day, and it's not necessarily bored. I just want it to end. I just want to stop. I had stopped playing World well before this when World came out. This is like the longest I've put into any Monster Hunter that I've played, and it's not even like it's bad. I'm just like, I want a break. And I especially want a break before Wilds comes out, and that's going to be like, next year after, something like that. But you know what I mean? Like, I just want a break. I know a lot of people who've gone back into World because of the Return to World campaign thing, and I just don't have any interest. At some point, I want to do Iceborne, but I don't at the same time. I never finished Iceborne is what I'm getting at. I'm close to the end for what I want to do, but not necessarily for the end of the game. By which I mean, I haven't done any of the Master Rank events, pretty much. And I also haven't done any of the Anomaly stuff, because I just don't care. So I want to do all of the Master Rank quests. I did everything up to this point solo, and then I was like, oh well, if I die to a hunt, I'll do it with followers, because then it's just easier than like constantly running it over and over again when I'm just trying to get this through anyway, because that's just going to make the experience even worse for me. And especially now, because I'm on a different timetable, where I'm on a timetable now of I need this video today, basically, when I'm recording. Especially I was at the start of the month. So there wasn't time to be messing about with stuff. So that was essentially why I did that with like the Violet Mizutsune. But then it was like, I've fought all these monsters before, and now it's just fight 5 of the same monster in one go. And I'm like, oh, okay. Woo. Like, I just don't find it interesting. I could do it, but at this point I don't care about doing it like that. I want to do it in a way that I enjoy rather than a way that some people might find more fulfilling or whatever. Like, I just don't anymore. So I've been doing them with the followers. I'm still going to do at least one run of every new monster solo. As far as I'm aware, that's only 5. There's the, Primordial Malzeno, and then there's the Risen Elders that I've not done yet. I think those are the only monsters that are in the game that I haven't already fought at the moment. So I'll do those at least once solo, and then if I die, probably go back and do it with a follower, because I just, like I say, just want to get it done, to be honest. There is also a slight chance that I have to take a break before I finish, and I really don't want to. But the point is that my rank is 147, and there are 2 monsters that I have yet to unlock, and one is at 160 and one's at 180. And if I am not there, I'll spoil it in that, because Primal Malzeno was the last monster released, that is going to be my last video, and then the prior 2 will be those 2 Risen Elders, because I'm just going to do those like 5 hunts, one after the other. So it'll be all the Risen Elders and then Primal Malzeno, and that'll be the end. But the point is that I want to do them in that order, but I'm right now only at MR 147, and I know one unlocks at 160 and one unlocks at 180, so I need to get up 33 ranks in the next little under a month. So I might end up having to take a break and getting my rank up, and then coming back and finishing them off at some point. It probably wouldn't be a long break, it would be like a week or 2 or something. I might do, if that happens, what I'll do is I will do a short LP, and then come back and finish off some break, and then start a new LP again after that. But hopefully that doesn't happen, because I hope that in the background I'll be able to get it up high enough, but I don't know. It just kind of annoys me that I've even got to do this, but whatever. Other than Monster Hunter, we had the last patch for 14 before Dawn Trail, which, when I started, I didn't realise it was the last one. I knew it was nearly the last one, but I thought we were going to get one more. But no, this is it, isn't it? Which just feels like a really long time. Like, we've got 6 months, near enough, till they're releasing Dawn Trail. That's a really long time without any quests. Now, I know we're going to get, like, events and stuff, and they'll bring back the Moogle Trove, won't they, before the actual expansion? But even so, like, there's stuff for me to do. I'm on the very last quest of Blue Mage, aren't I? Which I still need to finish. That'll be next stream, hopefully. There was an event that came out, I'm planning to do that on the day that this podcast came out. And then the week after will hopefully be me beating the last Blue Mage quest. And then I've still got stuff to do, but it's a long time. Like, I've got to do Eureka and Bosnia. I think it's Bosnia. It's either Bosnia or Bosnia, but Bosnia sounds terrible. But I've never actually heard anyone else say it out loud. I really should have. I've watched videos about it, I think. Actually, no, I haven't. I've never watched a video on it. I've watched videos on Eureka. I've never watched videos about Bosnia. Bosnia sounds right. Or like Bosnia? Whatever. I've got those to do, which I know will take time, so maybe I'll do those. And then I've never done Palace of the Dead, or is it Heaven on High? Can't remember what the other one's called because I haven't unlocked that yet. You got to get to floor 50 in Palace of the Dead to unlock that one, and because I've never done that, I've not unlocked it either. So I've got both of those to do. Like, at least enough to do the quests, if not all the floors, because I don't know if I'd have the patience to do all the floors, honestly, and especially if I'm doing it solo. Maybe if I had the patience to run it with people, but running it with people on stream is not always the easiest thing. Like, I did it once with someone, but they don't really play with me anymore because they, like, sleep at the times when I'm playing now, which is fine. It seems a long time to go without the content. I actually probably would have not released this patch until March, if it was me, because it doesn't feel like that long since we had 6.5, was it? We could have gone longer between 6.5 and 6.55, is what I'm getting at. As for the actual stuff itself, I like Wukalamat a lot more in the game than I did in the reveal trailer. In the reveal trailer, she does not look right at all. Like, she's just so up with the face. I find like everyone's faces look weird in the actual trailers, but in-game, I like how she looks. She also seems like a massive fucking nerd. Like, she's clearly going to be, like, a lot weaker than she's pretending to be. Like, that's obvious. But I'm expecting, like, pretty sure she's got, like, multiple siblings besides just the one we know about, and they're all stronger than her. You're going to be the underdog team, essentially, which is why she wants you. I feel like that makes sense. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Erenville was one of the siblings either. I feel like that's where the story's going, really, isn't it? It's going to be interesting as well, because you're going to be, like, basically competing against all the other Scions. Like, you've got the couple that are on your team, but Thancred especially is clearly on the opposing team, and I wouldn't even be surprised if he was on the bad guys team, at least to start with, and you'll probably beat him in an early trial, and then he'll be like, oh, I didn't realise he was so evil. Or not even that. He's fighting for the bad guy because he didn't realise he was the bad guy when he accepted, and now he's, like, stuck in it. And then when you beat him in the trial, the bad guy, like, turns on him and, like, attacks him, so he gets to leave and come back with you. Feels like that would make sense. And then, like, Grahatia is clearly gonna get there, but he said he's not going. And that's, like, no, because he has to come, because he's the best. Oh, actually, one other thing. I don't like the vocals in the new trailer. I don't know if these are going to be the final vocals for the song, but they're definitely different than the original vocals, and I like the original ones a lot more. With other stuff on my channel, pretty much everything else is going to be staying the same. We've still got sentences and the impressions and the retro impression videos and the LPs and all of that is still going to carry on as normal, pretty much. I'm making one slight change to the structure in that I'm now going to make it so that if a video is sponsored, it comes out on a Saturday. That's how it's going to be from literally tomorrow onwards. I mentioned in a video that no one watched that I was hoping to get more sponsors this year. I would really like to get at least one paid video by the end of the year. That would be nice. But at least more keys given me so I could try out more games. That would be cool. I wanted to get one a month. But even when I said that, I'd already been offered about 6. And I've now been offered like 12 already. And we're not even a full 4 weeks into the year yet. So I'm kind of expecting a lot more. It may well get to the point where I have to start turning them down, which is fine. I've actually already turned out a few. Mostly when they wanted me to do like Xbox games. And I ended up just taking the Xbox off my availabilities after that because I was like, yeah, I've got one. But for one thing, it's a base Xbox One. So while games might run on that, it's not going to look good. And for another thing, I just don't like it. I don't really want to touch it. I have no interest in using it. So I've just taken that off my availabilities now. If I get to a point where I buy a Series X, I'd put it back on again. But I've just seen no justification for doing that. I've got the money if I really wanted to, but I've just seen no reason to. Maybe if someone... I've talked about like getting a sponsored video. Maybe if I get a sponsored video and someone wants me to play an Xbox game, I will use it to buy that. If anybody out there wants that, I can do that. I feel like one sponsored video a week isn't that bad, but I get why others might find it off-putting. I want to be clear, though, that I don't treat my sponsored videos any differently than I treat any of my other videos, and especially, it's pretty easy for me to say that because I don't get paid for it. Sometimes it saves me money, like in the case of SteamWorld Build. I would have bought that if they hadn't given me a key, but they did. So that, like, saved me some money. But also, if you watch the review for that, you'll be able to tell that I didn't like it that much in the end. I thought it was pretty good, but kind of like, it gets kind of not very interesting towards the end. It just gets a bit boring, and it feels like they really rush the ending. And there's like, basically once you've hit one ending, it's not even like one ending, once you've hit the ending once, it's just do the other zones, and that's it. Nothing's any different. It's just, there are 3 more zones you can go through as well. Yeah, it's fine, but I don't know, I was just hoping for more. Anyway, besides the point. I don't put any particular emphasis on my sponsored content, so they don't get any more love from me, but they equally don't get any less. So if I'm doing sponsored content, it has to have been something that I was at least interested in enough to accept anyway. And then I don't, like I say, put any particularly more or less effort into those videos than any others. I don't know. There was a point to what I was saying and I kind of lost it. Like, literally the only extra that goes into them is I have to do extra work because I have to put up my disclosures and stuff. I actually end up being more critical of them often rather than less because I feel kind of like I have to be. I feel like if you're taking my opinion on a product that I've been like paid to review, you would expect me to be positive about it. So I try and counteract that by possibly even being more negative than I would be otherwise. But I don't know. You get what I'm saying at least. But yeah, I'm going to put all of my sponsored content out on Saturdays from now. That doesn't mean that every video that comes out on a Saturday will be sponsored, because sometimes I won't have a sponsor, so it'll just be a video. But if it's a sponsored video, it will only come out on a Saturday, except in like very specific situations. Like if someone gives me a key for a game and I can get it out on release day, I'll try and do that, because I think that just makes more sense. But otherwise, sponsored videos will come out on a Saturday. I think that's it. Special thanks to all of my patrons. You can join them over at patreon.com/Holden Gatsby, and for $1 a month you'll get to see what I'm working on early and get exclusive roles in my Discord along with other rewards I might think of. You can also just follow me there if you want to for free, as it's probably the best place to see all of my content as soon as it's available. There's links to the Patreon, along with my Discord, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, and all the other podcast platforms in the description for this episode. Finally, don't forget you can email me using podencastby@gmail.com if you've got anything you want to say. Thanks for sticking around. Bye. Special thanks to my patrons, Justin Wood, Hobbs, and Koopy Vegeta. You can join my patrons at patreon.com/Holden Gatsby, check out my TikTok and Twitter @Holden Gatsby, and follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Holden Gatsby. Don't forget to subscribe to all of my channels. If you want more, you can watch my last video now, but if not, then thanks for sticking around. Bye.